Well, Terry, we had just about every horse to start the first leg yesterday of our pick four, and except for one horse. It
Yeah.
was nine. I said the nine horse would be the one I'd worry about. Instead, it was the four horse. And I kind of went back and looked, and maybe it's one we could have had.
Yeah, that's true. But the four also bothered the two coming in the stretch on the turn.
Hmm.
And from what I could understand from what they said, the jockey did an objection. And they
Mm-hmm.
took a long time to look at it, and they said, "Well, yeah, that happened, but they had the whole stretch for the horse to recover and pass the horse, so they didn't allow it."
Well, I did see another one too later on in the day on one of my horses. No, in that same, they did disqualify a horse later on. I
Yeah,
think the
they did.
jockey whacked the six horse jockey whacked the seven horse when the head with the whip. It looked like.
It did, yeah. But the point is, the seven came over to the six, and just as he was doing the crop, so he didn't do it on purpose. And I think that I don't like that call. Yes, you shouldn't hit the other person's horse with the crop, but if the other horse comes over against your horse, what are you going to do?
Maybe the jockey should hit each other with the crop. That would add a whole new element. Be like back in the old days with jousting, except just give him a little longer crop. Hey, maybe Monmouth might think about that. You can't hit the horse with the crop, but you can whack the other jockey with the crop. Now that would be some horse racing people would pay to see.
Well, that happened in the Kentucky Derby with Broker's Tip
Hmm.
and some other horse, and they were hitting each other with the crops and the jockeys and fighting and pulling each other back and forth. And Broker's Trip won that race, the only race it ever won. So
He had to stick up for his owner, right? For his jockey. The Ratman and Robin duo.
I don't know if they were I don't remember if they were disqualified or not. I would imagine that something happened. So
yeah, I would think if you start whacking somebody with the with the sticks, that would be fun. I mean, I think it would make for an interesting, different dynamic to the sport. That's for sure. I got a feeling that Irad Ortiz would probably do pretty good under those circumstances. He's a little feisty, it seems.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I've seen him in a couple videos unleashing a few lefts and a few rights on some fellow jockeys. So a little bit of NASCAR action, I guess, in horse racing. It's always fun. A little bit of drama, right? Yeah. Drama sells, Terry, is what they say, right?
Well, it leads. Yeah, they're very competitive, the jockeys, and they have a lot more heated discussions and fights than we know about. So,
well, I can only imagine what goes on in the jockeys' room. Maybe that's something we can ask Julien Laperere tonight. Man, I can't believe I'm having a little brain cramp right now. Julien Laperere tonight on our Players Edge podcast. We'll be on at 9:30. Make sure you check that out. To the Eclipse winning jockey, great jockey from France. A lot to talk about. So 9:30 Eastern time, right here on the Horse Racing Radar TV. You can look that up right on YouTube, or you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You see the thing scrolling on the bottom down there. Speaking of jockeys that have been on the show, Terry, we had on Jose Ortiz, and obviously there's some big news out today about Jose. He won't make the rest of the Kentucky meet. Hopes to be back by Belmont. Unfortunately, the friend of our show has gotten COVID.
Yeah, they said that he didn't feel well, and so he went and had a test, and he has COVID. But they say he's okay. So don't have really drastic symptoms. So let's hope and pray that he recovers really quickly.
Yeah, to whatever degree of the COVID he has, certainly nobody wants to get it, right? That's the people are trying to get around that. But we certainly wish, like I said, Jose's been a good friend of the show. We certainly hope that he recovers as quickly as possible. Look forward to seeing him again on the track, and then again in the on the horse racing, the Players Edge podcast. Says, well, rough riding jockey can paralyze someone. They need to police themselves. Yes, I agree, Tom. It's like all sports. My son used to play soccer. Would not be. I can't imagine it's a good place to quarantine. It looks just like a farm out there with some horse racing guardrails out there. But it just seems to me, Tom says, there's only like one restaurant, and a few places to get good food. Well, we don't want to put any place down I've never been to, Tom. I'm sure the food is great there. But I certainly think that we hope that he gets better for sure. Right, Terry?
I do. I hope he does, yes.
Yeah, I was mentioning, you said jockeys can paralyze and they have to police themselves. My son would play soccer, and the referees, and they're high competitive. And, 16, 17-year-old boys can get a little bit aggressive with one another. It's pretty fun to watch at times as a dad. But what happens sometimes if the referees don't police the dirty stuff, which happens in every soccer game, then the players eventually will police it themselves. And that's when stuff can get completely out of hand, chaotic. And, your next thing you know, you're on YouTube with the families and everybody in the middle of the soccer field duking it out, throwing pieces of grass at one another.
Yeah.
Did you see this other story, Terry, about the trainer and the owner combination that did not put in the right paperwork for their horse?
Yeah, I did, and I guess it has something to do with the starter, I guess they call him, or.
So they're supposed to. I was talking to Tom iCarly today before the show, and he was kind of filling me in on how all that works. I guess there's like a 3-step process for like first-time starters, and the first thing is they have to show that the horse can actually go in the gate. So you get certified for if the horse can go in the gate. And then after that, you have to show that you've done some, a certain number of works. I think it's like 1 work in the last 30 days. And so you have to show that you're not just sticking out an unfit horse. And then thirdly, you have to show that you can put the horse in the paddock, saddle it without the horse, beating the hell out of the people trying to fix him up, like those wild Wyoming races that we talked about, where you had to be what was the guy's name, Terry? The one that would get beat up? I forget right now.
Oh, I do too. I forget his name.
Yeah, there's a position for it, and the name is appropriate, but we'll look it up again. But apparently they ran out of paper. They ran out of these certificates.
Right. And
the guy went to print them up, and then the other gentleman, Bud Bundy, of was that All in the Family fame?
Yeah, maybe it could be.
Yeah, Tom Carley says it happened at a training center and not a racetrack, because the owner was training the horses at his own track, Mark Ricker, Ashwood Training Center in Paris, Kentucky facility. And then they ran out of it, and then they asked the gentleman, Bundy, did you sign this paperwork? And he's like, no. So his boss just fires him. And then says, I'm filing a complaint against him with the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission for signing a piece of paper, for having his paper forged. So I don't know. This looks to me like it could make for the Ted Bundy. What was that show again? Peg Bundy. When
Married with Children.
Married with Children. It sounds like it could be a Married with Children episode.
Yeah, right? It does.
Instead of the horses not having the paperwork, I could see the kids not having the paperwork.
Yeah, it'd be pretty comical. So.
It could indeed be pretty comical. But one last thing, we like to have a good news story now and then. Terry, you read about this trainer, I think it was in Australia, right?
Yes.
Where El Divo is El Lovdo?
Yeah, they did a great job there. I'm so happy they did that. Normally when a horse gets that kind of an injury, they just euthanize it. But in this case, they loved the horse, and so they did everything they could to get the horse back, and it was successful. And, they spent $50,000 doing that. So I thought that was pretty commendable.
Yeah, it is commendable. I mean, that's something a big barns should be able to do, or maybe they could create like a jockey's fund. I mean, these states tax the hell out of you for everything else. Why can't they put a little bit of a fee on, whatever, your entry fee, or they put a sticker for your license plate like in Chicago. So instead of $200, it could cost $205 or something. But in any case, you can see the horse's legs all wrapped up. And they did spend $50,000 on it. And there's another picture down here. I think they put like 29 screws in the horse's leg.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's up.
Yeah, right over here. You can see it right here. A ton of screws because it got a spiral fracture. The horse had been hurt, and then they rehabbed it. Then the horse went out to race and got hurt again and broke its leg. And then they got the MRI and they saw the spiral fracture, and they loved the horse so much that they decided to spend the money. And now the horse is going to be like a lead pony or something like that for other horses.
Right. So I'm very happy about it. It really made my day. So
yeah, it's good to see. And it looks like a really good looking horse too. So I'm glad to hear that the people are taking care of the animals. I think that's what the sport's all about, Terry, is the animals, right?
Yeah, it's true. And they said that horse tried every time to the best of its ability. And so they were going to try to the best of their ability to make his life pleasurable for the rest of his life.
To make his life pleasurable. Let's see if we can make other people's lives a little bit more pleasurable today, Terry. With your best bet of the day, how did it work out yesterday?
Well, Voodoo Justice was right in front or right up at the front until he came to the stretch, and then he just kind of gave up and ran sixth. But my second choice, number 9, ran second and paid 3 to place and 260 to show. Brewski did not do anything. Today's pick of the day, though, is at Indiana Grand, the third race. And I like number 4, Choctaw Bingo, won 4 races in a row. And then she was defeated in her last one, but had an excuse that she was forced out at the 8th pole. She has a high percentage trainer and the highest last race speed of the race, speed rating of the race. Mm-hmm. And then number 8, Lady Mackenzie, led all the way to win a mile and 16th on the turf and her last race, and now shortens to a mile on the turf, which will just help her, I think.
Yeah, that'll shorten up a little bit, be able to hold that speed all the way to the finish line.
I'm thinking that's true, yes. And then number 10, Annie Mabel is always in the mix, having finished in the money 5 out of 6 times, winning 2 of those races. Her closing style has been,
she's been closing.
Applies to this race. And she has a hot jockey who in the last 7 days has won 3 wins out of 10 races.
3 out of 10. 30% clip. That's a good clip to win that, Terry. It's like a favorite, but it's probably not the favorite horse, right?
Right.
All right. So now we're going to try, Terry, to hit our – I don't think we've hit a pick 4 this week, Terry. I don't know what's wrong with us.
Well, we've gotten 3 legs, but that's it.
Three-legged pick 4s are almost as good as 3-legged dogs chasing cars, Terry.
I know.
They don't do you much. They don't do you much good at all. At least not much good for the dog. Not bad for the car, maybe, but the dog's in a tough spot. All right, so today we're going to try our luck at – we figured, heck, we might as well go to South Florida. If we can't enjoy the horse racing, we might as well be able to enjoy the sun, the beach, and the track. Did you see they're putting a new all new turf course in there, right? Is it in now totally?
I think
it is, yeah, right?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
And did they switch over to and I was just reading about it just briefly. Did they switch over to an all-weather track? I know that maybe that's the turf is like an all-weather turf course or something, strange surface.
They were talking about that they were going to do that, but I don't know if it's been finished yet.
It must be because I saw some construction video and there's some turf races today. I'm not 100% sure on that, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But in any case, Terry, let's start with race number 5. Race number 5 is a 6-furlong race on the main track, if I remember correctly. And looking at that distance and surface, what we find, as you would expect, is speed is the way to the winner's circle. The fastest horse to the quarter mile marker has won 37% of the races or something like that, Terry. So wire to wire, 37% of the time. Which horse do you think is going to go wire to wire, Terry?
Well, I don't know. Number 5, Goodbye Gabby. She ran poorly in her last race, but she had an excuse that she was broke out and bumped at the start. Trainer Mark Pasley wins 33% of the races when bringing back a beaten favorite. Mm-hmm. And her early running speed style helps her chances she can improve at the shorter distance. Blinkers are added today. So, yeah, she can get out there in front and maybe take it all the way.
Yeah, looking back, you just you could toss out that last race. But if you look back the 2 races prior to that, I feel like those 2 races fit. And when I look at my early pace ranking, she's the second fastest out of the gate, only to number 1, Acting Lucky. And the 2 seem to have a decided advantage over the rest of the field in terms of their early speed. And then on top of that, Acting Lucky gets the rail, which it's hitting at a pretty high rate of over 20%. So you got a fast horse on the rail. The one thing that does concern me a little bit about Acting Lucky is it has not broken from the inside yet. So I'm not quite sure if that's going to be a plus or a minus for Acting Lucky. But still, between Acting Lucky and the 5 horse, Goodbye Gabby, those 2 horses should be out in the front, setting the pace. And I think, if I had to guess, one of those 2 is likely to be your winner. But do you have any others that you consider?
I do. I have number 7, Cozy Cafe. And if Acting Lucky and Goodbye Gabby run each other into the ground, Cozy Cafe can come from close to the pace. She ran a good second last race, but improved her speed rating by quite a bit. and it appears that she either can lead or come from behind, which, as you know, is an angle I like.
Mm-hmm.
And the trainer wins 21% of the time when the horse that ran second in the last race comes back and runs again.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only thing that concerns me a little bit about this horse, Terry, it is shortening up from 6.5 furlongs to 6 furlongs, but it had a 2.5 length lead in the stretch last time, and then faded really badly in the end. And then the race before that was its 7th race when it finally broke its maiden. So it concerns me a little bit. I know that Cozy Cafe is probably likely to gather, maybe even be the favorite when they go to the post, because she's the morning line favorite, thanks to our friend down there, Peter Aiello, the track announcer.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, Terry, that last half of a furlong last time out scares me a little bit, fading so hard. So maybe we could put it off to the side and bring her back in a little bit later, or maybe she beats us as the favorite. But I feel like it's a very vulnerable favorite, because it took the horse so long to win. Finally did win, came back, had the lead, and then just really choked it up at the end.
Yeah, I agree. We can do that. We can put her up the side.
All right, race number 6 is 1 1/16 on the turf, which is a little bit different. Obviously, speed is not going to be as dominating at 1 1/16 on the turf, but surprisingly still more than 1 out of 5 horses that get to the lead actually win the race. There doesn't really appear to be much of a post position bias. Obviously, more horses start from posts 1 through 6 than anywhere else. The rail still does manage to win at 20%, but it does seem like inside out have the highest winning percentages, Terry. Is there a horse that you want to start with here on the inside?
Well, actually, my horse is kind of in the middle, the number 7 Thorn.
Mm-hmm.
Likes the distance, finishing the money 100% of the time, winning 33% of those races. He likes the track, finishing in the money 71% of the time, winning 29% of the races, and his best turf speed is the fastest among today's starters.
Yes, I agree with you. And, in our conversations with Robertino Diodoro and others, they've mentioned that when they claim a horse, they usually have a spot in mind. Thorn was claimed in the last race. Aubrey Mara is making the first start with this new horse, and that's I think about a 32% angle for the trainer. And on top of that, the horse is making its 3rd start. Last time, it's only had one other 3-race cycle, but that 3rd race was almost the best race in the cycle. So I feel like, but was better than the 2nd. So I feel like you're going to see the horse improve off the last start. And then, and if it does improve at all, it probably has a pretty good chance to win. I'm going to go with a little bit of a longer shot here, Terry, with my 2nd pick, and that's number 8. If we're going to go with just plain Thorn, why not also go with Big Thorn? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't get it in my picks, but this is a really wide open race. So yeah, now that I'm looking at it, it has a pretty good chance. It's going to come from pretty far back, but
well, it is a 3rd start off a layoff, which I like. It's had 3 consecutive speed figure increases, 2 since coming off a break. So that last race that looks like on paper is deceptively, probably deceptively better than it looks on paper. Yeah. The horse is also taking a major step down in class, which is another positive. Last time out, optional claiming $75,000. So it's coming down to a level that should be a better fit after running in a non-graded race, $75,000. So Big Thorn is taking a step down. But what I also like about it is the one time the horse ran on a sloppy track, which can be a precursor for a horse that might like the turf. The horse won in easy fashion. So I think that you might find Big Thorn or regular Thorn might be 2 horses that take to the grass pretty well. And you might get a good price on Big Thorn.
Yeah, let's do that. They added blinkers today, which may help. So,
Any other horse that you like?
Number 11, Busimo. He ran 3rd, beaten half length after he steadied at the 8th pole. Trainer Elizabeth Dobbs wins 29% of the races when bringing a horse back after a claim. And then he has a hot jockey in the last 7 days, has won 2 out of 8 races and ran 3rd twice.
And in the last race, too, for the 11 horse, there was for Buenissimo. For Buenissimo's last race was the 2nd try at a mile, so 2nd route race. And if you compare it to the first route race or the first mile, which both were at Gulfstream Park, the fractions improved a lot. So I feel like the horse is probably going to be at or near peak form for the third try at a mile or more. So this will be the third try at a mile. Those improved fractions tell me that the horse will probably be charging really hard late and not too far off the pace. So I think that might be the most fit horse in the field, and as such should be a contender too. Number 9, Terry, is my 4th pick. Any love for the 9?
I didn't pick it, but let me look here.
Let me tell you why I like the 9 horse, Terry.
Okay.
This horse is one of those horses that doesn't really – it's always competing, right? It's been on the track 15 times, been on the board 7 of those 15 times, been at the distance 8 times, finished third 4 times. So the horse is always somehow a part of the equation. The only thing the horse needs to learn how to do, Terry, is win.
Yeah,
right?
True, yeah.
And last time out, I liked the big move that the horse made in the last 16th. So horse shortening up. I feel like this horse right now, again, last time out ran much better fractions than it, well, not much better, but noticeably better fractions than it did in the prior race. Again, that's an indication to me that a horse is probably in form, or at least getting in shape, and maybe a horse that could surprise us at 6-1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine with me.
You want to put it in or off to the side?
Let's put it in. I got a feeling about it.
All right. Well, we've been beaten by the 9, so I told you from now on, any race where I have any sort of doubt, the 9 is going in there. Maybe the 4 too. Should we just throw the 4 in there for us to make that happen?
If you want, I'd like to put one off to the side just for the heck of it. Named number 5, the Northern Members. His last race at Golden Gate. At Gulfstream.
The North remembers, yes, a reference to the Civil War, I guess.
Yeah, the North remembers. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
He won his last race at Gulfstream on the turf, and I really like the way that jockey Chantel Sutherland rides.
Mm-hmm.
And she now gets it in the iron. She rode this horse a couple of races back, so she's familiar with the horse.
Yeah, and they came in second. It's also the 3rd time off a layoff for the North remembers. And also looking at that, Terry, the last time the horse ran a 3-race cycle, and I like to look to see how horses do, in the races coming off the bench, the 2nd race off the bench, 3rd race off the bench, 4th, and so on. And I like to see how a horse, what its cycle has been at, where does it find its form? And the North remembers the 3rd race off of the break was the best race that horse had in any of its races. And that time out, it ran, I think, 7 races without a break. So I think we just go ahead and throw that one in there, Terry, because we only have 2 in the first leg so far, right?
Yeah.
So we have plenty of money to work with. And I feel like the next couple races, we might not go that deep. Race number 7, Terry.
Okay.
Let's move on to race number 7. That's 6 furlongs on the main track again. As we mentioned, to kick it off in race number 5, 37% of the time, the horses that get to the front stay in the front all the way around the track. And looking at this race, Terry, I think there are a couple horses that have a chance to get out to the pace early on. But for me, I specifically like number 3, American Prince. In fact, it's a horse that I would actually consider singling in here.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's my top pick, American Prince. He won his first race easily, and he has the highest last speed rating of all the mounts in here. The jockey has a really great record of 20 mounts, 6 wins, 2 seconds, and 5 thirds. So I like that horse a lot.
Well, what I like too, and you mentioned, Terry, that he had the highest last race speed figure. So when a horse, I'm not a big fan on maidens stepping up, because unless under a couple of circumstances, one, it's either the first race or 2nd race, and it does include the highest last race speed figure, or the maiden took some time off, came back, and then ran one of the top speed figures and is stepping up. This horse qualifies, first start, running away, was okay bet, almost 6-1. But I feel like you're going to see improvement from this horse in its 2nd start. It's had some time off, a long time off, and the works have been okay since. So if Ralph Nix has gotten any more out of this horse, I think it has a good shot to win and could be a single. Any other horse that you like, Terry?
Number 6, the Distractor. He ran 3rd at 6.5 furlongs, but now cuts back to 6 furlongs, the distance where he won his last race in. And his early running style helps. He has the best dirt speed among today's starters, and the trainer jockey combination in the last 14 days of 4 mounts, 2 wins, and a second.
Yeah, I do like the 6-horse, and I also have some concerns about the 6-horse though too, Terry. What I do like is when I look at and did my early pace calculations, the 6-horse should be amongst the fastest early. As we mentioned, speed out of the gate should be the way to the winner's circle. My concerns are it's a horse that was challenged. It's been in 2 consecutive dogfights, and in the later part of the last race, it faded hard. So I'm not sure that another dogfight for the distractor will have a different outcome, but maybe he can get to the lead and hold on to the lead and keep the lead. The other horse that I like that I think should get out to the front along with my 3-horse is the 5-horse, which is the favorite right now.
Yeah.
Won this last race. I mean, this horse in the last 4 races have been first or second, 2 firsts, 2 seconds. So the horse is clearly is fit, in form. He's taken some time off. The workout stints are okay, nothing spectacular, but still maintenance works. I feel like the horse, when you look back at previous starts, very similar type workouts before the horse hit the track. So I think Bailey is one. It's a vulnerable favorite, Terry. That's why I like the 3 first, but one I don't want to get beat by as a horse that's increased its speed figure 3 times in a row before going to the bench.
Yeah, he's my 3rd pick, and the trainers won 25% of the time when bringing a horse back after a win. So, and he won his last race.
Last race as well. All right.
Yeah.
So you want to put any more in here? I think we should move on. Or
no,
what do you feel?
I think that's enough for now.
All right. So race number 8, number ocho, el número ocho. 5 furlongs on the turf, claiming 12.5 with a purse of 24,000. Once again, Terry, you find at 5 furlongs on the turf, you better be fast, and you better be really fast, Terry, because 43%. That's 4 out of 10 for those of you that are doing the math right now, a little more than that. Actually get to the lead and keep the lead. So speed, and more speed, Terry. And when you look at the early pace figures, it's going to be a lot of speed, Terry, here. I think that all the numbers, all the horses kind of match up pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
So for me, my top pick in this is Bahamian Moon. Number 3.
Yes.
You agree?
I do. That's my top pick. She's finished 66% of the time the money this year, and she's won 22% of those races. She was a beaten favorite last week, but the trainer wins 28% of the time when bringing back a beaten favorite.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And I think it's going to be not on the lead, the 3-horse, but I think it's going to sit right behind a couple of other horses that are likely to be on the front, and that's the 6 and the 2. And the 2, My Destiny is, I know it doesn't really look like it on paper, but the 2-horse does have the opportunity to get to the front. Last couple times didn't get out there. And then the 6-horse is Yellen, like the Secretary of, Finance or something, Secretary of Treasury, something like that. Janet Yellen used to be ahead of the Fed. Just print. Can you have an easier job than that? Hey, what's the answer? It's print more dollars. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I think I qualify. I'm next. Anyway, Yellen. So I between the 2, I prefer the 2-horse, Terry. Those are the 2 that I think will be the pace setters. So My Destiny is my second choice, as it should be up on the lead and have a chance to make good on that 43% wire to wire.
Yeah, she's been on a break for about 2 months, but has consistently been working out, and also has a jockey that's done really well in the last 7 days. 20 mounts, 6 wins, 2 seconds, and 5/3. So it was my 4th pick.
All right. Any other horse that you want?
I like Daddy's Joy, number 4. She won her last race at 5 furlongs in the turf. What I really like about her is that she can either run on top or she can come from close off the pace. And she has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and the best turf speed is the fastest among today's starters.
Do you feel like we need to put any more here?
No.
You don't feel like I feel like we should probably try to find one maybe that has a chance to upset us at some price, maybe, Terry.
Yeah.
Is there any long shot in here you think is a crack at it?
Well, if we're talking about that, it's 6-1. Number 7, La Carta
Bonita.
Bonita. Yeah.
La Carta Bonita. Somebody's pretty. But I guess Kara is pretty.
I need to practice on those names before we get them. But she's finished 73% of the time in the money this year, and she's won 11% of those races. So.
So for me, I think maybe the horse that might fit that bill to us, Terry, is the 8 horse in this spot
Beauty
too.
Queen.
Or the 6 horse, because like I said, I did mention Yellen is a horse that could be on the lead. And last time out, did improve a little bit in terms of those fractions. Were a little bit sharper than he ran in the race before. So to me, the 6, 7, or 8. Do you want to go with the longest shot? Which one do you want to go with in there? Or do you want to go with the better jockey trainer combo? So it looks to me like the best trainer in the deal is Carlos David, hitting at 22%, followed by the 6 horse Yellen's Cam Gambriati, I guess maybe. Yeah. But the top jockey in the whole crew is number 6, is Edwin Gonzalez. So I think we should either go with the 6 or the 8. Do we do the quarter, or do you want to pick one?
Let's go with let's do the quarter, because I'd go, if I was going to do one, I'd go with the 8.
You would go with the 8?
Yeah.
Even though the early pace favors the 6 horse here, Terry?
Well, that's true, but then there's a lot of speed here. Something might come from behind to catch them. So,
all right. So let's go ahead and go with the 8 horse then. Sound good?
All right. Yeah.
All right. So I agree with you. That 8 horse was my 4th pick. So looking at what we have right now, we have 20 and 3 is 60. So $60. If we put the 7 in the first leg, Terry, I don't know, what would that do for us? That would give us
3 times 5 is 15.
60 times 3 is 180. So it'd be $90.
Yeah, let's do that.
There you go. So that's our our fly 4 for Thursday in race number 5, 1, 5, and 7. Race number 6, I think we took every horse except the 4 horse again. So hopefully the 4 horse doesn't get us. So the 5, the 7, the 8, the 9, and the 11. Race number 7, we have the 3, the 5, and the 6. Race number 8, 2, 3, 4, and 8. And a couple other horses we were thinking about there are the 6 and the 7 in the event there's a scratch, or you prefer one of those in your handicapping, right?
Yes.
All right. That wraps up our fly 4, Terry. So let's look real quickly at how we lined them up ourselves in our hot dog pick 4s. Terry and I both, Terry spent $18 today. I only spent $16. Terry went with the 1, the 5, and the 7 in race 5. In race 6, the 7 and the 11. In race number 3, the 3 and the 6. Race number 8, 3, 4, and 7. Terry, you do have the 7 there, but not the 8. So hopefully the 7 doesn't win. Beat us there. On my side, I went 2 by 4 by 2 by 2. The 1, the 5. I feel like the 1's going to get to the lead and not give it up in the first race. Race number 6, I think, is obviously the most wide open, hoping to catch a price there. Race number 7, the 3 would be a solo for me, but I didn't need to solo it, so I went with the other fastest horse. And then finally, in race number 8, went with just the 3 and the 4. Terry and I agree on a lot here and have a couple different ways that we can hit the hot dog and hit the fly 4.
That's right.
Any other things that for the day, Terry, that you think are worth mentioning before we roll?
Well, were we going to do the place tickets?
Yes. I'm a little bit old, Terry. A little brain fog going on. Here you go, Terry. Today at Indiana Grand, race 2. Take it away.
Okay, I like the number 9, Manuelito. Manuelito. And then I like,
it means a small Manny, like Manuel being small. So it's a small Manny in Spanish.
All right, I have no idea. So, and then at Prescott Isles, I like number 4, Magic Lemons. Charlestown, the race number 1, I like Officers Unbridled.
So for Terry, you're going to have to be at your computer all day. So hopefully you head on over to Horse Racing Radar and go look at our free picks or our premium picks, so that in between Terry's races, you can find some other winners in there. And for me, I just went to Kentucky Downs today. We'll be there again tonight. We'll be talking about 3 races with Julien Laperoux, a Hall of Fame jockey for sure. And race number 8, I like number 9, Charcoal. Race number 9, number 10, Coffee Maker. I didn't 8, 9, 9, 10. I should have picked number 11 in race 10 then, right, to keep up the symmetry there. It's like an SAT question.
Yeah.
But number 10, I like number 7, Dominga. So that wraps up mine. Hopefully, it can help you find a pick 4 late in the day there as well at Kentucky Downs. All right, Terry, that wraps up our Thursday. You're going to go on break tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am. I am. And I'm looking
Tom,
forward to it.
Tom, Carly, and I will be here tomorrow morning at 10 Eastern to discuss the 2 races on the weekend at Kentucky Downs that are Breeders' Cup Challenge Series races. Win and you're in. And then 22-1, Tom and I will be back a little bit earlier tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern, 1 hour earlier than normal, to talk a little bit about some big races this weekend over in England, I think at Doncaster, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, on tomorrow, there are some handicapping contests over at Horse Racing Radar. Tomorrow's Woodbine, Saturday and Sunday, at the last 2 days of the short meet at Kentucky Downs. So make sure you head over there. Make sure you register. It's all free, and give yourself a shot to win $50 on Friday and Sunday and $100 on Saturday, when we will bring you live race analysis for every single race.
Yeah, and if you like what you've seen today, subscribe on YouTube and give us a thumbs up, and then on Facebook, like us, Twitter, retweet, and follow us. Now we're
Absolutely.
not telling you have to do that, but if you like us, we'd like you to do that.
Yes, we're not telling you to do it, but do it. No, we can't, because Yahoo, Twitter, and all those people, Apple, they have a heart attack if you tell people what to do with the with their rating systems. But yeah, if you like the show, make sure you tell your friends about us. However it is you communicate, because friends don't let friends bet horses on Thursday without checking in with Terry and I.
Yep.
All right, Terry. Till we meet again on Saturday. You going to join me Saturday?
I'll try.
If not, I'll see you on Monday for sure. Till we catch up again, everybody, as always, good luck at the races, and hopefully all of your tickets or all your picks end up in the winner's circle.